Right, so what is going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. So today I'm here joined by Alex Duncan and Joe. Alex Duncan is a Tranmere fan and a Manchester United fan, and Joe is a Stevenage and Ipswich Town fan. So welcome to the channel, you two.
All right, guy. All right, mate.
All right,
So
Morgan. All right, Alex. It's nice to be here.
So in today's video, as you can see by the title and the thumbnail, we are going to predict our Sky Bet League 2 predictions for the upcoming 2022-23 season. So hit it off. Obviously, we're going to start from rock bottom, which is obviously relegation, up until first place, which is crown champions and winners of the league. So in 24th place, let's hit it off. I've gone with Crawley Town just because of what's been happening through the last season. Obviously, the manager with the comments weren't the smartest and brightest of ideas to come out of a manager's mouth. And if I'm being honest, the FA could look into that and do something about it. So yeah, I'm going to put Crawley Town to finish rock bottom of the division. Joe, moving on to you.
For my bottom pick, I went for Barrow. I just think they just survived relegation. I just think without Oldham and Scunthorpe with their issues, I think Barrow were the next team to go down. And I think this season, I think they're going to go down the season.
Alex, your prediction?
Right, my number 24 is Barrow. Obviously, the amount of managers Barrow have had in the last few the last few seasons they've had. Barrow, I just don't think they're good enough to be in this league. But that is my personal opinion. Obviously, they've got a good player in Ollie Banks. He's probably their best player in my eyes. Obviously, he's a former Tranmere player. But yeah, I think Barrow will get relegated this coming season.
Fair enough. And moving on to position number 23, I have gone Barrow as well. Similar reasons to Alex and Joe. Obviously, they're a team that just survived relegation last season, and if it weren't for Oldham or Scunthorpe's defence, like arguably, I did say that Stevenage and Barrow could have been the teams to drop out the EFL if it weren't for Scunthorpe and Oldham, and that's why I put Barrow, because I don't see the signs of improvement. Yeah, they've got Ollie Banks. Yeah, they've got this player, that player, but the conditions of playing are horrendous as well, and the ground is a dump. So I'm going to put Barrow in 23rd. Joe?
For my 23rd, I would go for Harrogate. I just think injuries kind of played on them as well. I think they were all catching up. I think last season they did really well. They were unbeaten. They were top of the league. And I just think as well with the injuries, they didn't have much subs as well. I mean, I remember a few games, they only had like 5 subs or 4. And when you're playing like something like League 2, you need all your subs as you can get.
Yeah. Alex, who you put in 23rd?
23rd, I've put Grimsby. Grimsby Town obviously just came up from a league, National League last week, and obviously they've done well to get up. Obviously beating the likes of Wrexham 5-4 with one of the greatest games I've ever watched in my life, especially for a National League game, and obviously for a neutral. What a game!
That game was crazy.
It's always funny. It's always funny to see Wrexham get beat. Always funny.
I think it just shows also it's a good thing for the National League in terms
Yeah,
of the coverage.
it's obviously it's good thing for the National League. Obviously, it's to watch a great game. Obviously, being 4-4, the next minute Grimsby scoring in the last few minutes, and obviously a former Tranmere player scoring one of the goals. Funny.
I mean, no one would have predicted 5-4.
Exactly.
Right, in 22nd place, I've gone and put Carlisle United. Now, Carlisle did finish 20th last season, and I think they are going to be 2 places worse off. They have been struggling a bit since really the season that was in behind closed doors. Like, they was top for a bit, and then they just went downhill and then spiraled down ever since. And honestly, the league's getting harder. League 2 is getting ridiculously harder, and I don't think they're going to be able to cope. And that's why I put Carlisle to finish 22nd.
My 22nd, I went for Colchester. aka Ipswich B team. I just think they've got an aging squad, and I think that's going to play a part as well. And I think they need some more youngsters, and I just think they need to reinvest. And the chairman is kind of got a clash with the fans at the moment, so.
Fair enough, Nathan, mate. Fair enough. Alex, go on.
Going from the 22nd, I've gone for Crawley Town. Crawley Town has one of my favourite stadiums because it's a small ground, good fans, good workers that work there. They helped me when I was in a wheelchair, tell me where to go and everything. Obviously, because for the second time I went, I think it was the FA Cup game, they were fantastic. Obviously, I didn't get there till about bloody, I think it was about 10:30 in the morning in Crawley because my mate always goes really early to games, and it was amazing. But yeah, obviously to win 1-0, and then a few weeks later we played them again in the league. We beat them 1-0 again. It's always good going to Crawley. So yeah, I'd be definitely going there next season. But I do think they'll just about stay up.
In 21st, we are taking a trip to the north of Yorkshire, where Thogden was born, and that is Harrogate Town now. Harrogate Town, they finished 19th last season, obviously started the season off ridiculously good. You know, they went, I think, like a month unbeaten, then got beat by Port Vale, injuries hit them, and they just went down on a spiral, you know. And I said in Alex's video, I said, with like so Jack Diamond returning back to parent club Sunderland, I do think they are going to struggle massively without him. Obviously, they have some fantastic players like Luke Armstrong up front as well. You know, Warren Burrell centre back. They've got some Alex Patterson as well, some good players in that Harrogate Town squad. But yeah, I do think they are going to struggle next season. That's why I've gone at 21st place. If you go
my 21st, I went for Crawley. I just think with the managers, I just think he is a big gamble from managing Arsenal's under 21s to the League Two. It's a big jump. Any league's a big jump. And I think what's going on behind them, the FA might charge them and things like that. They might get fines or points deduction. We don't know yet. I mean, if they're still looking into it, it's not looking good for Crawley.
Fair enough, Nathan. All right, Alex, who are you going for 21st?
I've gone for Harrogate Town. Obviously, playing them last season was a 2-2 draw. A good point away from home, but a winnable game, like we should have done. But obviously, I think their budget isn't as good as what everyone wants it to be. Obviously, they've only been in the league for about 2 or 3 seasons, but I do think they'll just about stay up. And obviously, I do think they've got a good fan base and they've got some good fans. So yeah, I'm saying them for 21st.
All right, moving on to 20th place. I've gone AFC Wimbledon. I do think they will struggle coming into League Two. You know, obviously we thought this league was going to be a piece of piss. We're going to smash the fuck out of it. It wasn't the case. I put us to finish third last season. We finished 18th. So yeah, they are going to struggle massively. They're not like the best of budgets, let's be honest. And I think they really are going to struggle in such a tough, unpredictable league this season coming for the new campaign. So I do think they are going to struggle massively. That's why I've dipped them in 20th place. Joe?
My 20th, I've gone for Stevenage. I think, yes, we've got Steve Evans at the helm, but I just think as well, we've got a good factor going on, but like, it will take time, and I think Steve Evans, is more likely to steer us away from relegation and just not, and maybe challenge for a few seasons or two if we keep hold of them.
Alex, who have you put in 20th?
Right, I knew someone's not going to like this, but it has to be done. I'm sorry, Joe, but Stevenage, 20th for me. Obviously, it was a good away day for me, obviously going there a few months back. Obviously, it's a decent stadium. It's decent. Obviously, Joe's taking the mic, saying, 2-0, 2-0. But didn't we beat you 1-0 at our place?
We got most goals.
Or whatever. But yeah, decent place. But I'm just going to say one thing, good thing about Stevenage. One of the best burgers ever.
Good luck with Pergiani.
Yeah, Pergiani.
Nathan's an Oldham fan, by the way.
Oh, okay. So Nathan would know about. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one
Right.
of those.
Alex, so you said your 20th.
Yes. Stevenage.
Right. In the 19th, I have gone Crew Alexander. I do think like Wimbledon, they will struggle coming obviously down from week one. Obviously, we're not the best budgets either. Same as Wimbledon, really. That's why they're both next to each other, and obviously both got relegated last season from week one. So that's who I go in 19th. Joe, who have you gone with?
19th, I went for Grimsby. I think, like, don't get me wrong, they've got players that are experienced into the elite divisions. I just think it will be a bit of a challenge for them. I think they'll stay up because obviously it's their first season back. But then I think maybe if we come back this time next year, they will go down more.
Right, Alex, 19.
Number 19. Mine is Crew Alexandria. There's only one reason why, because the amount of players they've lost. I think they've lost. How many have they lost out of their team? Pretty much everyone. Obviously, I think they've lost their manager as well. Is that true?
Can't confirm on that one. Sorry.
I can't remember either if you have
So
that.
what I'll do is I'll have a look and just see what happens. But
Alright.
Crew.
Right, so moving on to 18th place, it's the team in Essex, Colchester United now. Obviously, Ipswich's B team, the likes of Lee Chambers, all those players that left Ipswich to go join Colchester, which must have caused backlash, to those players. Obviously, switching from rivals to rivals. So I do think Colchester will finish 18th. They did finish. Jesus, they did finish 15th last season. But obviously, with the players getting older, more prone to injury, and players that have left, I do think it will be a bit of a struggle. Obviously, with their ownership, Cowling as well, that could get at Colchester as well, and that's why I put them 18th.
My 18th, I went for, sorry, Morgan, but I'm going to go with Rochdale. I just think, like you say, it is a hard league, and last season you thought, oh, okay, we're going to win this and things like that. But it is a hard league, and I think with the players going and coming and going, it is hard. Like you say, the one from O'Keefe to Forest Green, that's a big sale for Rochdale, and I think he could have stayed. But if you go to League One, you can't turn that down. And I just think it's not looking good for Rochdale at the moment.
Yeah. Nathan, which county, Newport or Stockport? I've not put any county at the bottom. I put Crawley at the bottom. If you missed that bit, you can go back and watch it. But yeah, Alex, who you put in?
I have put 18. Is this?
Yeah, 18.
I put Colchester United because obviously from what's happened last season with Tranmere Rovers, last season getting beat, conceding the last minute in the 95th minute, it's heartbreaking. But the thing is, we should have been better than them last season. We should have won. If we won one of them games, we'd have probably got in the playoffs. But you have to take your chances in these type of games. The bottom of the league side, the bottom half of the side, you have to be beating teams like that. But if you don't beat them, you know what's going to happen. So yeah, Colchester in 18th.
Moving on to 17th, now Walsall just got new owners and signed Tranmere's former Peter Clark. Obviously, I put Walsall 17th. Yes, I've got new ownership. Yes, I do think it is going to take time for them owners to pull the finger out and start doing business. So 17th, first year under new ownership. And then maybe next season, you're going to do amazing. But yeah, I've just put Walsall in 17th for that reason. Because the owners could either do well or mess it up. So I put Walsall there.
My 17th, yeah, that's right. My 17th, I went for Hartlepool. I think, again, they're going to sort of do mediocre at best. They're sort of losing some of their players, but they've still got people who can carry them going forward. And I think that's what they'll need. They did really well last season, their first season back. They win in the semi final of the Checker Trade. Unfortunately, they lost to Rotherham, who are the eventual winners. And I thought Hartlepool played really well in that, and I feel like that could be going forward.
Alex, 17.
Right. This is the team that I like going to near enough every season. It's
Tranmere.
good for my ticket. Can't complain. Carlisle United are my number team in 17. They've got a good fan base. Got some good players. They've got one of the biggest stadiums in the league. I think they've got the second biggest ground in the league with 18,000. But yeah, I think Carlisle with their manager, after what their manager did against Tranmere last season, he is so deluded. He's delusional and everything. But did you hear the things that happened last season?
Yeah, I watched the interview and we were speaking about it. Well, me and you were. I got about it.
Their manager is so delusional. He can't take a draw because I think it was a draw. They scored in the last 5-10 minutes, and the referee had one of the worst games ever. And apparently, I can't remember who the referee was, but apparently, Tranmere put a complaint in about him because we don't want him ever again. Because the way Tranmere Rovers should have had the penalty, free kicks. After that, never sending off because of. Don't you remember we had 2 men sent off with Kieran Morris and Cal McDonald? What's that supposed to mean? And the referee, absolutely shocking. So Carlisle 18th. No, Carlisle. What did I say? Carlisle. What number were we on?
17th.
Right, Carlisle 17. In my eyes, I'd love to see Carlisle go down just for that manager. If he's still there, it'd be funny as fuck. Be hilarious.
Right. In 16th place, I've gone for Sutton now. They finished 8th last season. And I think second season syndrome is going to bite them and make them finish 8 places below. Like Sutton were a fantastic side that come up from the National League. They've shown the league up in my eyes for a team to come up from the National League. But yeah, Sutton second season syndrome is going to come for you, and unfortunately, you're going to get it. I hate to say it, but second season syndrome's got to get someone. Joe?
I can't agree with you there, Morgan. I went for Sutton 16th. And again, second season syndrome. Also, when you go up from National League to League Two, and it was their first ever season League Two, you're always going to get found out in the second season. They know how they're going to play, and it's either the manager has to change his style of play because he needs to, but if he does the same, other teams will find out. And there's not going to be much players there, like Goodlift as well, the young centre back. He's a good player. The goalkeeper, brilliant, and Craig Eastman as well, former Arsenal academy.
Yeah,
He's also a good player, and I think Sutton will find it tough this season.
Joe, just got a question. Do you think the players the likes of Craig Eastman, Ben Goodliff, the goalkeeper, Dean Bazanic, however you say his name, do you think if they sign for Sutton for next season, do you think they can gel, they can bond? Do you think they can be a better team, better than last year? Do you think they can build it on and possibly get playoffs? Any chance?
I just think second season syndrome, that's the only thing I can think of. And I think even if they do resign or they've still got them in a thing, they still need to build the players around them and feel like they need to do something different. Like, let's say, for instance, they had really pacey strikers. Get like a really tall striker, make him hard, make it interesting, make it unpredictable at times. And I just think with everyone was Sutton like in the final against Rotherham, everyone wanted Sutton to win because they like the underdogs, and I think
And there was fractions away from winning it as well.
they were
There was
97 minutes.
fractions, yeah. Heartbreak for Sutton for that. There was like 28 seconds away from winning it, and then
Heartbreak.
Right, Alex, have you done 16?
No, we're on number 16. Morgan, you're going to hate me, but I know you
16.
love me.
All
But I'm going to say your team in Rochdale, obviously, the amount of players you've lost this season, obviously, with the strike you've got going to Blackpool, one going to Bolton.
But Beasley, Morley,
It's just.
Alex Newby, obviously Corey is gone.
But I'm going to ask you a question, Morgan.
Yeah.
Do you think your team could gel? Do you think your team could bond for next season and obviously try and get into the top 7? Do you think you can get there this season, next season, for this season coming?
Depending on how everything goes, with the point deduction, if we don't get it, then we'll easily gel. Robbie, for me, I know quite a lot of people are a big fan of Robbie Stockdale, like Sam, my mate from Bradford, SHD. Isn't the hugest of fans of Robbie Stockdale. He even said if Rochdale didn't have him, we'd do a bit better. But obviously, it's Robbie Stockdale's first professional managerial job at Rochdale. Obviously, last season he learned.
He was at Sunderland, wasn't he?
No, last season he was where he was.
No, what I'm saying, he has been at Sunderland.
Yeah, but not as a proper manager.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, do you think he can gel with them?
Yeah,
players?
I think he can. I think he can get the right players in to start with. Get the right loanees on
Here's
loan.
one for you. He's out of contract. Well, apparently, one of Joe. I don't know if Joe knows him. Danny Lusby.
Who?
He's a Stevenage fan. Danny, his name is.
Okay.
He was saying Stevenage were looking at Cal McManaman from Tranmere Rovers, who's out of contract. I think he would be a perfect fit for you guys. But obviously, if he's out of contract, he possibly could go to Rochdale because Manchester's not far from Liverpool because he's.
I was going to say he'd rather go somewhere around there rather than going down to Stevenage because he's the sort of player for me, like we've had for years, that he would only come to Stevenage for a paycheck. You know what I mean? Like,
well,
no. But what I'm saying is, he won't. He would only come to. It's quite far for him, to be fair. But what I'm saying is, if he goes to Rochdale, like you say, he's quite close. He will give it his all, and things like that. We've had many players at Stevenage would just go for the paycheck, kick a football for the 90 minutes, and then just walk back or drive.
But what
back.
I'm saying is, obviously we had Walsall first game of the season. He scored in that game, fantastic. But from other games, he didn't really adapt well. Didn't really get in the team as much. But near the end of the season, he was developing so well and fantastic. But the worst thing about it is, I think his wages will be expensive because he still is a great player. I think he's about 30, 31. I'm not too sure, but he's a great player. But if teams like Stevenage or Rochdale get him, you've got a gem of a player, massively. I rate him. I had him on my shirt last season. I definitely bring him in. So, yeah.
We're going to move on to 15th place. Yes? No?
Yep.
Yeah.
In 15th place, we are taking a trip to the National League playoff final winners at Grimsby Town. Now, I think Grimsby are going to have a semi-decent season back in League Two. I don't think they'll go down this season under the right management, but hey ho, it's Grimsby. Sometimes they are a bit of a yo-yo club, but I think this time they won't go down, they won't go up, they'll finish for an average place for Grimsby, 15th. Joe?
Yep. We're on 15th, aren't
15.
we? Yep. 15th. I've gone for is Carlisle. I think they've got good players. They've obviously signed Thomas Holy today. He's obviously 6'9". I just think as well he's a decent goalkeeper. Yes, he didn't do well at Port Vale this season, but I just think if you give the guy a chance and you develop him, give his confidence up, I think he is a really good goalkeeper. And if they
Do
keep
you
going up
think,
Patrick a bit as well.
Joe, do you think he can develop into a better keeper? Obviously, because obviously he's been a flop for most of the last few months. Obviously, when he's played against the likes of Tranmere, everyone's saying he's a massive flop. Can you see him being a better goalkeeper in the coming seasons?
I can see him coming better in a coming season because as an Ipswich fan, when we signed him, there was not really no competition. Like we saw, I remember the first season. I think we went down. We had him and Will Norris, and Will Norris was on loan at Wolves, and
Yeah.
he had. And for Holy, he was like, "Oh, if I drop the clanger, I'll be all right. I will still be playing." But when obviously Cook came in, he sorted it out. He got Hedgelek from Salford.
Yeah.
And then as soon as he dropped him, he was there like, well, my confidence is gone now because I am actually can get dropped. And I think all you need in players, Klopp is a good example of this. He puts his arm around them, he motivates them, and they go again. That's what you need, sort of like that sort of manager. And whoever the Carlisle manager is, I hope they do that and they go forward.
Right. On to number 15 still.
Have you done your 15
Right.
minutes?
Hartlepool United I've gone for. Hartlepool United were fantastic last season. In the second half of the season, they've done really well. Obviously, being the likes of Tranmere Rovers, Peter Clark in goal. Just saying, but it was an own goal. I thought when Tranmere played Hartlepool, we were shocking, absolutely shocking. It was why the hell I spent a tenner to watch that showery shit. Tranmere was playing Hartlepool. It was awful the way we played. We didn't create chances, and yeah, Hartlepool had the game plan and it worked for them. So obviously they got in the playoff semi-finals, done real well to get in that. Obviously losing their manager, I'm not too sure why, but I thought their manager they had last season, I thought he'd done a really good job. But yeah, so I'm thinking Hartlepool 15th. I think they're a good team. Obviously, it could be one of them seasons where they could have a good season or they could have a crap season, if you know what I mean.
Yep. In 14th place is my team, Rochdale. Now, providing everything goes the way that I hope and do want it for, I think 14th is a reasonable place. 4 places higher than last season, Obviously, we have lost some good players like Corey, Alex, Noobs, Bees, Azza, Morley. So, yeah, we've lost quite a lot of players, and obviously we lost Morley Beasley in January, and recently Corey O'Keefe's decided for a screen. You see my video from 2 days ago, make that 3 if you're watching this later on in the future or whenever you watch this video. But yeah, Corey gone, Newbie gone. But yeah, with the right players, obviously we signed a goalkeeper, Richard O'Donnell, great shot stopper. A bit clumsy with his feet work, but all around a great shot stopper, according to Bradford fans, and he's a leader as well because he used to be the captain there. So that's decent. We brought someone into the side with leadership skills. Obviously, Owen O'Connell's our captain at the moment, and yeah, feels good to have a leader, a second, vice captain. We could make him vice captain, obviously because he's been a captain before at Bradford City. But yeah, I think 14th, get the right players, transfers, some loanies that suit our style, brand, and breed of play, and we should be all right and finish comfortably in 14th. So, Joe, you're 14th.
My 14th I went for is Crew. I think as well the same sort of similarities with Rochdale. They are sort of slowly getting rid of their players. I know they had a young centre back from Crew, and he's developing into a good young defender. But it depends if they're going to keep hold of him, or are they going to be like, oh, maybe we should cash in and build a team around that sort of money. And it depends what they're going to do going forward. But I think they'll just get 14th.
Alex, 14th.
That's Pete fucking trying to message me. My 14th is Swindon Town. Obviously, Swindon Town had a great season last season. Obviously, to finish in the playoffs, getting beat in the playoff semi-finals. One of their biggest players in McCurdy absolutely skied the penalty. The ball is still coming, and I think I've just caught it. But yeah, great player. They've got the likes of Johnny Williams, who had his debut against Tranmere at Swindon Town Stadium. Great stadium, some good fans.
Yes,
some
it is. I agree with that. Swindon, lovely place. Fans are lovely. Lots of stuff to do around the county ground.
But the thing is, when I went to Swindon, you will not expect this, but we were talking about cricket. Cricket. If you haven't seen the video, give it a watch. It's hilarious. We're just talking.
I swear this Freedom for Britain guy, was at the Oldham and Rochdale game at Rochdale. I swear he was, because I saw him at the spot on the social club, and then obviously at this area.
Yeah, so
I swear that's the guy, because he did a video.
Did you go in the Swindon bar where the away?
Yeah, the Legends one. Yeah, I went in that one.
Was it quiet when you went?
Yeah, we was the first people in there.
To be honest, we were, because no one knew about it. Where if there was a pub, because everyone was going down the Orford end. Was your pub on outside near the stadium? Outside?
No, we just went in the Swindon bar, the actual stadium.
Next to the ground. Mine was inside the stadium, pretty much.
Yeah. Right.
So, but
13th. We're ready for 13th?
Ready for 13th?
Yeah, go for it.
Wait, hold on. Yeah, I went to you. Sorry, hold on.
Yeah,
that's where I recognise you from. That is where.
Morgan, how come I can't see the comments?
Are you on full screen?
What?
Are you on full screen?
Yeah.
Come off full screen and and see comments.
But right, 13th place. I've gone and put Stockport County, the champions of the National League. I think they're going to have a decent, good season in League One. They have League One, fucking hell, League Two. They have caused a few upsets here and there in this division. As a newly promoted side, that's what I tend to do. I tend to toy around with the teams that have been in the league before, and obviously mess them about. So I do think Stockport will finish solidly and comfortably. Slap bang 13th place. Joe?
My 13th I went for is Doncaster. I think you're looking at it, and I just think, is Gary McSheffrey the real manager for the job? I think it's quite tough for him, because I think he should do more before the Doncaster job. We'll wait and see what happens. I just think the players are not that good enough. Unless they brought more players in, I do not know. I just think Doncaster will come 13th.
Alex, 13th?
AFC Wimbledon is my 13th. Obviously, I don't know much about them. Obviously, they've got a new stadium, Plough Lane. Looks like a great stadium. Definitely going to be doing that if I can. But yeah, don't know much about them. Obviously, they've got Alex Woodyard that used to play for Tranmere Rovers, who is a decent player. But yeah, we have to see what happens and see if they will be any good this coming season. Obviously, being relegated from League One last season. So yeah, pretty much staying half 13.
So in 12th place, we're taking a trip down to the West Country, and we're going to the county ground at Swindon Town. Now, obviously, Swindon Town, they've had a real good shot to the foot, to be honest. Losing Ben Garner is a huge blow for Swindon Town. Obviously, Swindon Town last season didn't have a club coming into last season, and the things that they done, 13 players making a debut, bringing up a few academy players as well. So Ben Garner's already done a fantastic job. Got players like Johnny Williams, Harry McCurdy, Ben Gladwin, some fantastic players. Walcott in goal as well, Davison, Dion Conley as well. They've got a fantastic, well, they had a fantastic squad last season and a fantastic manager. And for a team that nearly wasn't existent, getting playoffs, they finished in sixth place last season, got players, and obviously lost to Port Vale in the semi-final. But for a team like Swindon, the mentality, the attitude they had last season was ridiculously good. I liked it. It was untouchable what they did, and I do think Swindon are going to be worse off without Ben Garner. A few players will leave. I do believe Davidson's gone because he was on loan from Charlton, so Davidson's gone back to Charlton. Obviously, Ben Garner's been appointed as Charlton manager, so him and Davidson can work at Charlton together. But yeah, it's a huge loss for Swindon, and that's why I put them in 12th place. Joe?
My 12th place as well, I've went for Swindon. We agreed on that, Morgan. And you basically summed it up. And obviously other young players as well. Like, they got obviously Louis Barry, who obviously scored that famous goal for Aston Villa against Liverpool when Aston Villa were forced to play the kids. And also they had Ipswich youngster Tyree Simpson. He had him for the first half of the season. He was doing really well. He was developing. I think he got an injury and he went back to Ipswich. There is talks apparently he might go back to Swindon, but apparently Swindon can't afford it. And like you say, they're a team that nearly went bust. And if you asked me this time last year, I would have thought they weren't safe, and I would have thought that maybe near the bottom two.
Yeah, I put them like 23rd last season.
Yeah, like Swindon fans, no disrespect or anything. It's just because at the time with the club and everything, it was more like it looked dead and buried. But kudos to you guys. Kudos to the Swindon fans for always believing. And also remember this season, you had Man City in the FA Cup. That's amazing for you, and especially for the money and everything else. And hopefully it is put right into your club and not kept into someone's back pocket.
Yeah. Alex, who have you gone for 12?
12. Gone for Sutton United. Had a great season last season. Can they keep that up, being in another season in League Two? I think it's going to be really tough for them. Obviously, they've got some great players in the squad. Obviously, with the likes of Woodliff and the goalkeeper and the striker, but it's going to be tough for them. So yeah, 12.
Right, in 11th place, we're taking a trip to London's relegated side, and that is Gillingham. Now, Gillingham obviously coming down from League One, which, to be fair, last season they had a stinker of a season, arguably probably one of the worst in their club's history, and obviously with players leaving, I think it's going to be a bit of a challenge, but I think they're strong enough to stay in the top half of the table, and I've gone and put them in 11th. Joe?
My 11th, I went for Newport. I think, like last season, you look back last season, I think they really heavily relied on Don Telford. And I think
too much.
Yeah, too much. And I think if he goes injured or if he goes to another club, there you go, guys. Morgan, Alex, if you want to play, go for Don Telford, proven striker. I think also you can think they used to be around the playoffs, but I just think they're slowly on the decline now. I don't think they're going to be around that.
Yeah,
I think it's because they had so many games with because of the COVID situation.
Yeah,
they didn't really have many games, and obviously they had so many games in hand. Obviously, I remember Hartlepool beating Newport at their stadium, which was fantastic because it was helping Tranmere that kind of week. But yeah, it's one of them. But we just have to see what happens with Newport County.
In 10th place, we are going to Yorkshire again for another Yorkshire side, and that is Bradford City. Now, obviously, Bradford City got Mark Hughes as manager, and let's be honest, his first couple of games in charge was an absolute nightmare, something that he don't want to look back on.
Morgan,
but obviously, with the
what number are we on?
10.
I didn't do Gillingham. I said 11. You missed me out. You do.
I said 11, and then you just said.
I said Gillingham.
Yeah, I said Gillingham. Joel, who did you say?
My 11 was Newport.
Yeah, so we've all done 11. We're on 10 now.
No, you didn't ask me about Gillingham.
Where
You
have you
didn't
put
ask
Gillingham?
me.
Where have you put Gillingham?
Right, I put Gillingham at 11th, the same as Morgan.
Right, right.
Obviously, the same reason what Morgan's saying. They didn't really do well last season. Obviously, they've got a new manager, everything. So I think they'll finish mid-table.
Right.
Now on to 10th.
Yes,
Yeah.
now back to 10. Obviously, I went with Mark Hughes' Bradford City. Now, Bradford City are a team that really should not be in this league. Arguably, yes, because of the performances, but for a team like Bradford, the size of it, the history, nah, they shouldn't be in this league. But I'm going to put them in 10th place because obviously Mark Hughes coming last season. They ended up finishing round about 14th last season. Yeah, 14th last season. And it wasn't a good season for Bradford, bringing in Derek Adams. He went a bit of a shambles, got rid of him, got Mark Hughes. Mark Hughes' first few games in charge, where he's actually the best. It took him ages to get his first win. And yeah, I think with Bradford's signings that they're going to bring in as well, I think they're going to do well. I do believe they have brought in Colin Doyle as well, so he should be a good outlet and a good fit for him. So I put Bradford in 10th place. Joe?
My 10th place, I went for Stockport. I think as well they're obviously the new champions of the National League. I think they're going to do really well. I think they're going to surprise a few. Like you look at Sutton, and everyone was thinking, "Oh, Sutton are definitely going to go down," but they proved people wrong. I think Sutton are going to do that. And also, you got to realise as well when they play teams like Bolton, who if you're going to remember League One predictions, we might do that. But I think when they face Bolton in the FA Cup, they go Bolton run for the money. They were clearly the better team, and they were clearly had a good structure in front of them. And I think it's a future going bright for Stockport.
Yeah. Alex?
I have gone for Walsall. Obviously, Walsall have only just got new owners with a new manager, which they had they brought in last season in former Newport manager. I do think they'll have a better season than they did last season, obviously, because the amount of games they have will. The games that they were losing, and obviously when they play Tranmere, they beat Tranmere. And then obviously after that, they were having a few good games, obviously winning them games, and then it's just that obviously Peter Cole going to Walsall with Manny Montvey as well, which it's just got Walsall 1, Tranmere and Atlantic for next season, definitely. But you never know. Just see what happens next season.
In 9th place, I've gone Gary Neville's Salford City now. The reason why I put Salford 9th is because manager after manager after manager after manager. They're getting as bad as Oldham for doing that with managers. It's not fair on the manager because you're not giving him time to explore his ideas, his tactics, his philosophy on the team. And I think just by sacking managers, it's not going to get you anywhere, and you're never going to get out of this division if you keep sacking managers. You're always going to finish in the top half of League Two if you keep sacking managers after manager after manager because they've got nothing to build on. Them like they create something, they get halfway through creating it, then you sack them, and then it all goes to waste, and then you have to get like another one in. It's just not the ideal situation. So yeah, you need to stop sacking managers. That's what's really getting to you. And yeah, if you don't sack managers, maybe playoffs promotion. Who knows? But anyways, Joe, what's your number 9?
My 9th place is Salford, and it's basically the same as yours, Morgan. And I was just thinking as well, you say about everyone says about project and things like that, and also you get Gary Neville on Sky Sports saying about the Glazers and things like that. I'm like, well, hang on a minute, you're like the Glazers in a way. You are sacking managers. You're not giving them time. You're not making the players gel and like do start of play because they're having like 3 managers as per season, and all the players are like, well, this manager did this one, this manager did that one, and you can't turn around. And if you turn around and say to him, "Oh, I kind of preferred that other manager we had," that's not good. That's bad on you. It's going to reflect badly on you. And that manager's like, well, I'm not joining you guys again because you guys done me dirty.
Yeah. Alex, your number 9.
Right, we're going to go for a treble here. I have put Salford City. Obviously, they've got a new manager in, I think his name's Neil something, who was from Manchester United. Obviously, bringing in different managers each and every season, about three or four a season. It's not good enough. It's not good for the work at the club. Gary Neville, I don't think he knows what he's doing. Obviously, look at him at the Valencia job. He was there for 2 months and bottled it. He bottled it. And if Gary Neville was chairman of Tranmere Rovers, I'd hate him. I'd want him out. Even though I am a Man U fan, I'd want him out straight away because he's not good enough.
Didn't they lose 7-0 to Barca?
Well,
Didn't Gary Neville Valencia lose 7-0 to Barca?
yes. And the thing is with Gary Neville, obviously having the likes of Ryan Giggs, Roy Keane, what's that going to do? I remember when Salford played Tranmere and it was behind closed doors. Salford were 2-0 up and Tranmere came back and drew 2-2 in the last minute. and then it went back to looking at Roy Keane's face. His face was a picture, beautiful, and it's just funny because Salford are, yes, they've got some good players in Jordan Turnbull, fantastic defender, fantastic. They've got some good players. Ryan Watson from Tranmere, great player, but do I think they will be in the playoffs next season? No chance. If they keep getting rid of managers, that's not going to happen. You have to have a manager for the whole season, see how he does. If he does shit, get rid of him. Simple as that. It's not rocket fucking science. Simple as.
Right, moving on into 8th place, we are taking a trip to South Yorkshire at the Eco Power Stadium, as it's Doncaster Rovers who are going in 8th place, and Doncaster coming down from League 1 into League 2. I think they're going to be the best team that's been relegated from League 1 to League 2, and that's why I put them to finish 8th. They've got real talent in that squad. I think Gary will do well next season. Obviously, he's had a bit of experience in a high division and a hard division. Obviously, I'm not saying League 2 is easy because it's not, but it's a slightly bit easier than League 1, so that's why I've gone with Doncaster in 8th place. Joe?
My 8th place is Leyton Orient. I just think they've got good players, don't get me wrong, but like the one that stands out for me is a former Ipswich striker called Aaron Duran. We didn't give him really a chance really, and I think we should have done. But I'm just looking at her thinking, if he starts firing all cylinders, I think you've got a good striker there. The only thing is you've got to keep him fit. They've also just signed someone permanently from Lincoln. I'm pretty sure Theo something. I don't know his last name.
Archibald.
I think that's the one.
Signed him yesterday.
Yep, you got him. So you got like a good round going on. And I think as well, what we also don't realise, I mean, we also this going on YouTube. I think the sidemen have also got a part in this Leyton Orient, which is important for them because they can bring the younger attraction to the kids of these days because of the sidemen.
Yep.
Right. Alex, 8th place.
Right. Number 8, exactly same as Joe. Leyton Orient. Leyton Orient is my favourite stadium in the whole league of League 2. Better than Bradford, in my eyes, in my opinion, because it's just one of them stadiums that's iconic. It's just beautiful. Obviously, you've got people that live there, they can watch the game for free, but obviously their rooms are going to be extortionately expensive. But I do think with Richie Wellens as their manager, I think he'll do a better job than he has done. Obviously, when he was at Salford, he wasn't that great. But I think for him next season, I think it'd be a really good boost for them to finish 8th and obviously just missing out on the playoffs. But obviously, I think they'll get back to winning ways and obviously winning games. Obviously, the last game of the season was against Tranmere Rovers and Tranmere winning their 5th away game of the season, which was fantastic. So if we can beat them again, that'd be fantastic.
I think, like you say though, like with Richie Wellens, it's like it's hard. I feel like it's hard to judge him at Salford because he's never really got a chance
At Salford or where?
at Salford. Yeah, at Salford. Yeah.
To be honest, I think he is a good manager. Obviously, he's a former Manchester United player as well as that, as you can't forget. But I don't know. Is he a good enough manager to be in League One or the Championship?
I mean, I'm pretty sure he took Swindon up.
Yeah, I think he did. He did.
Yeah, with
He did.
Owen Doyle, top scorer.
Yeah, because he had Kane Woolery then.
Mm.
So who's in your playoffs, Morgan?
In playoffs, I have gone Stevenage. Now, I've gone Stevenage because obviously the likes of signing Carl Pergiani, you've got Steve Evans as manager. I think it's going to be a lot better season than last season. And yeah.
Go on, Joe.
For my 7th, I've gone for Alex Duncan's Tranmere.
Suayame.
I just think as well, like their home form was really good. I just think away from home, I think Mickey Mellon's learned from that now, and I think you're either going to get like a really defensive Tranmere now, or it'll be like we can just go for a draw or sneak a win from and then go really defensive, and I think they can do that.
Joe, I've got a question for you. So,
Oh,
do you think Tranmere will be better away from home next season, or not?
No, I don't think you do. I don't think you do better. I think you still have a good home form, but like you say with the Colchester, I feel like you'd you'd win them. Basically, you
So,
won't.
do you think we will win more games than 5?
6, 7.
Come on, man.
I think it'll be close, but I don't think that's what I mean. Is I think it depends what Mickey Mannon's going to do going forward.
Do you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking depending on what the team's going to be. Depending.
Well, exactly. It depends on the team. It depends on the formation. It depends how Mickey Mellon's going to set up.
Yeah, so obviously we just need to see what happens. So my number 7 is the one and only team from Manchester, Great Manchester. That's what people say. Stockport County. Stockport County are a great team from National League. They've got a great manager in a former Tranmere Rovers player, possibly the next Tranmere Rovers manager if Mellon ever goes. But yeah, I think they're going to have a great season next season. Obviously, it could be a shot, obviously, because the likes of Sutton done a great season last season. But can Stockport do it? I think they can, just about. When one of our mates said, Pete said, and Notts Forest will get top 7 this season, next year.
I mean, anything can happen, though, can't it?
Yeah, I guess. But I can't see Forest getting top 7.
Yeah, but I mean that's like years ago with Leicester getting first.
Anything can happen in football, can't it? But yeah,
Anything's happened.
go on, Morgan.
Right, in 6th place, I've got Hartlepool to jump wildly up from 17th to 6th place. Now, I think Hartlepool are going to have a much better season than last season. Obviously, it was the first time back in the Football League for a while last season, and I think they want to build on that. Obviously, climb up the Football League and pyramid to play as high as possible as they possibly can. Joe, who have you gone for 6th place?
My 6th place, they went down last season and in League One to the League Two, and I've gone for Wimbledon. I think as well, like they've got Johnny Jackson as the manager, who I feel like who was really harshly done by at Charlton because I feel like he was trying to get his point across, but then Charlton just be like, "Nah, we don't want you." You know.
Yeah, Sangard basically said, "It is what it is. Just go."
Yeah, exactly. You know, just pack your bags and we'll go for somewhere else. I feel like he wants to be a point to and I think as well it's like he wants to face Charlton, so I feel like that's his motivation and be like, right, let's get to the playoffs, let's face my old team and win it for the club, win it for the fans, and also I want revenge against Charlton and everything else is good. And also I think they got a new stadium as well, and that's going to give them that urge, that drive, and be like, you know what, we've got a new stadium.
Are you going to go there with Stevenage?
Might be. I might be tempted. Depends on when it is.
Yeah.
Alex, who you go for?
My number 6 is Newport County. Obviously, I think they just missed out on playoffs last season. They've got a great team. They had great players last season with Dominic Telford, who was out of contract for this coming season, which I think he'd be a gem for any team that wants him because he score about 18 goals last season, something like that. Incredible. Signing Declan Drysdale, former Tranmere player, obviously started with Tranmere in his youth career, but I don't know. Obviously, Newport are a funny one for me because I think obviously Tranmere Rovers played them a few seasons back in the playoff final. They can damage teams. They can win against good teams, and obviously, so it wouldn't surprise me if they're in the top 7 this coming season.
Right, 5th place for me. I have gone somebody else for Newport County now. Newport County are a team that one season were in the playoffs, one season not, one season not, one season not. Last season there wasn't, so it just makes sense to stick them in the playoffs because more likely to bottle it again in the 119th minute and then finish outside the playoffs the season after, and then history repeats itself for Newport County. So I'll go for them to finish in 5th place. Joe?
In my 5th place is a wild one, but I've gone for Walsall. I think as well, like they've got new owners and things like that. But like we all said, it takes time. But then there's also January, so it always depends. Look at Newcastle; they got the richest club in the world, and obviously they was shocking to start with. And they got till January; they've signed some new players, and I think as well they got Peter Clark, who Alex is biggest fan. He's gonna get that experience from Peter Clark.
Yeah, I thought you said Kieran Clark then.
Peter Clark, not Kieran.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got Peter Clark, and I think he's going to solidify that defence for Walsall. You've got the manager who also knows the players with Newport, and I think that's going to be good as well because he also knows the players. And I think as well, if I'm a Newport fan, if I'm a Walsall fan, I would go for Cole Rushworth again on loan from Brighton. Give him another shot because I think you need to develop him. And I mean, the guy's talented. He was linked with Barcelona, so he must be good.
What?
Yeah, years ago, he was a couple of seasons ago. He was linked with Barca.
Wow. Right. This is going to shock people, what I'm going to say now. In my team for number 5, Mansfield Town. Yes, Mansfield Town did get beat in the playoff final 3-0 against Port Vale, which I did say Port Vale will win, but I was a bit shocked that it was 3-0. Obviously, they had to keep I forgot his keeper's name in Mansfield. Nathan Bishop, who's on loan from Manchester United. Great keeper. I would love him at Tranmere. But will it happen? You never know. Obviously, definitely on loan, which will be good. Obviously, they've got Hawkins, who was a striker, now a defender. Obviously, scoring against Tranmere Rovers in the 3-2 game at Prenton Park with a 3-2 game, which was one of the best games that we had last season, with a winning 3-2, was fantastic. Obviously, but yeah, it was a good game. Definitely see Mansfield doing well next season. Obviously, with their owners, they've got some good owners, they've got some good players. Obviously, one of the players that used to play for Newcastle, James Perch, is a decent player. Obviously, with Longstaff last season, incredible. Obviously, for him for being in League Two is amazing to watch. Obviously, for neutrals, but especially I think they'll finish about 5th.
In 4th place, we are going to Prenton Park for Tranmere Rovers. Now, Tranmere Rovers last season, let's be honest, had the biggest stinker away from home and in a phenomenal season at home. And that's what stops them from getting up there. They did finish 9th and put them to finish 5 places higher in 4th. Now, Tranmere got some fantastic players last season, the likes of Ross Duhan, Charlie Jolly, Elliot Nevitt, Foley. They had such a decent squad last season. I think, the shit players have gone. bringing in some new players as well. I do think they're going to build on that. They're going to, well, pick up their way form, we'll see, under Mickey Mellon, and push for fourth playoffs. So, Joe?
My fourth I went for is Gillingham. I just think with Neil Harris as a manager, yes, Gillingham were having problems in League One, obviously with their owners and things like that. But with Neil Harris at the charge, I think he's ready. He'll literally be ruthless. He'll kick play. He'll basically say to players, "Are not good enough for his team," and that's what you need with Gillingham at the moment with what's going on. They need to sell them players and be like, you know what, you're not good enough. I don't want you in this club. And I think that's what Neil Harris is good at. And I think that's what I think Gillingham at the relegation zone. I think they'll do well this season.
Yep. Alex?
So my number 4 is my team in Tranmere Rovers. Obviously, Tranmere Rovers had a dip in form last season with only winning 5 away games last season away from home. Obviously, winning the last one against Leyton Orient was a good result, but we need to be more consistent winning games, especially away from home. But our home form was incredible, being top of the leaderboard for the best home record. It's incredible, winning about, I think we won about 52 home games last season, which is incredible. And if that was like that if that was like the whole season, Tranmere would have won the league by far. We would have won the league. If we won every game away from him, we would have won the league straight away. And it's one of them. But I've got a funny feeling Tranmere will be in the playoff final and win it. That's what I'm saying. That is my statement. I'm saying right now.
Right,
So Tranmere to go up.
If they don't, go on Alex Duncan's YouTube channel.
Right, okay, right. I'll say this now. If Tranmere don't go up, I'll do something. But I'm not doing something really stupid like being a dickhead. But
Well, that's normally, so you know, that's no change.
I'll tell you what I'll do. If Tranmere don't get in the
If
top
Tranmere
7,
don't go up, you have to go bald.
not a chance. That'll never happen.
Well, I've been bald before. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going bald meat. I'll do something else.
Right, into the top 3, guys.
Buy an Oldham shirt.
He's already got one.
We've already got one, lad.
Right, who do you hate the most? Wrexham, get Wrexham.
Me.
No, Liverpool.
And you got Darwin Núñez.
Right, if I had a Liverpool shirt, me, I need a piss.
You have to get Liverpool.
No,
You have to wear it.
Let's get on to
Morgan, Morgan, you can't talk. You
Alex, top 3, fuck me. Right. So into the top 3. Leyton Orient, I'm going in 3rd place. Obviously, under Richie Wells, we've got some good players like Paul Smith, an absolute superb striker, and what a strike he produced against us, absolute belter of a goal. But yeah, I'm going Leyton Orient under Richie Wells. I think Richie Wells is the right man to take him up. And who have you got in 3rd place? Joe?
I went for Bradford, and I just think Mark Hughes has now got a full first summer at the club at Bradford, and he's got that manager power at League 2 level. And you look at his signings, he's got like Jamie Walker, and you've got Jake Young from Forest Green. Okay, he's not like the Jill Matt and that Matt Stevens who was there, but he was in that team that got promoted, obviously as champions. And you also got players like Matty Platt from Barrow, a good tall centre back. And then you've also got Harry Lewis from Southampton. So do I think Harry Lewis will start? Probably not, but it's looking up for Bradford because of Mark Hughes' manager power.
Alex, who are you going in 3rd?
Mine is exactly the same as Joe. Bradford, I think Bradford are one of the biggest teams in League 2 because obviously they used to be in the Premier League a few seasons ago and they've just obviously dipped down in form, but obviously to be doing well, done okay last season, obviously with their home form was shocking because I think they only won about 1 or 2 games at home. Obviously, getting a draw against Tranmere. We were obviously Tranmere Rovers with a good goal difference. Well, good unbeaten ones, which is good. But Bradford, I think they'd be one of the strong targets next season to get promoted to back to League One where they belong. I think they should be in League One because I think they're a great team.
All right, in second place, I have got Northampton Town. Now, obviously, Northampton missing out on it on the final day of the season due to Joey Martin's Bristol Rovers sweeping 7 past Scunthorpe. I think Northampton will come back 10 times stronger, stay in a steady promotion position throughout the entirety of the campaign and finish second. Joe?
I've also gone for Northampton, and I think that's exactly the same reason. Like, yes, okay, they did lose in the playoff semi final, but I think it is they were the thing is with Northampton is I think they were probably gutted because going before the game kicked off, they were thinking third's done. It's theirs for the taking. They're not Bristol Rovers are not going to get what to win by 4 more goals or 3 more goals. They're not going to do that. It's all good, things like that. But then Bristol Rovers done a miracle and got there, peaked Northampton, and Northampton. It's always the thing in football. If you lose by that and you come fourth, and the other team come fourth to third, the last bit, your morale's so low, and you think maybe I should have done better or things like that. Or during the Barrow game, the last game of the season, it was like maybe I should have finished that chances, and it showed that, And the game against Mansfield, and it's just one of those days. And I feel like you say they can be stronger next season.
Alex, who have you gone for second?
I've gone for Northampton, like you guys. Northampton, good team. Obviously, they're good at home. They're good away. Obviously, Tranmere couldn't get any points at their place or at our place. But yeah, I do think when Tranmere went to Northampton, it should have been a draw because the referee was shocking. And obviously, with what Joe's saying, obviously miracles do happen. Obviously, with Bristol Rovers scoring 7, which is really unlikely. Unlike teams scoring 7 in a game in the
especially in the 4th tier of English football,
especially for 4th tier football. But obviously, for a neutral, it's fantastic. So obviously, Northampton they have to go up or possibly top in the league because they've got a good manager in John Brady, who is obviously was starting there when he was a younger person. But yeah, I think it'd be a good season for them next season, definitely.
Right, so our League 2 champions goes down to Mansfield Town. Now, Mansfield Town, I believe, are going to absolutely wipe the league next season. The likes of Jordan Barry in the squad, I think he's a star key player for him. Leipzig as well. I think they've got some good attacking threat and good defensive mechanisms in the squad to absolutely just blow the league. Obviously, didn't nearly went up this season, but they lost in the playoff final to Port Vale 3-0. But I think Nigel's Huss Stags are going to wipe the league, going to shock us all and finish top. Joe?
I've gone for Mansfield at top. I just think, like you say, with the playoffs, charismations and things like that, that's going to rejuvenise them. They're going to want determined. They've got Nigel Clough at the helm, and he's a really good manager. He knows about promotions. He's done it before. And I think when you look at, so like you say, with Ollie Hawkins, yes, he got red carded and things like that. But people like that, when you get red carded at Wembley, you get that little drive and you'd be like, you know what? I let my team down and I want to make it pay. I want to make, but for the right reasons, not for the wrong reasons again. And that, for me, that's why I've gone for Mountain. Also, they're wealthy as well. Quite wealthy.
So, going on to my number 1, who is going to be the League 2 champions of 2022-23 season, is going to Doncaster Rovers. Doncaster Rovers have got manager in Gary McSheffrey. Yes, Doncaster have had some poor spells last season, obviously with managers and everything, but I do think they can get back to where they belong, which is in League One, because they are a great team. They've got a good fan base, and don't underestimate them because they haven't got a great team, but they have got some decent players in their squad. Obviously, bringing in some great players in as they've got so far. I'm not too sure who's there at the moment, but I'll probably recognise a few of them when I look at them, saying if they're good. But yeah, I think they'll be good next season. Obviously, I think they'll win the league. I reckon they'll win the league by, I'm going to say 10 points. But it could all change in the league. So, yeah, that is what I'm thinking. Doncaster to win the league in League Two.
Right. So if you guys enjoyed this video, remember to like, comment, and subscribe every Friday. We're on the road to 1.6k subscribers. Can we hit that before the start of the football season? I reckon it's slightly doable. But if not, hey ho, we rock and roll. I'd like to thank Joe and Alex for being in the stream, and I'll see you in the next video. Up the Dale.
Come at the Borough.
What the Tranmere?